Hey y'all, it's November the 23rd, 2016. We're balls deep up in the tribulation, alright? And that being in consideration, there's going to be a lot of things that are very odd. Not only odd, but they'll be odd on many levels. Things aren't going to add up because of the fact that it's a tribulation. There's going to be a lot of details and different twists and turns that take place during the tribulation. Now, it's all going to be retarded. Alright? It's going to be very easy to step back and discern that there's a lot of retardation taking place, and it's only on an upkick. It's only getting worse, right? But at the same time, there is hope for the future. If we can just concentrate on what is retarded and alleviate that out of our lives. We all have blind spots, mind you, and those blind spots make us retarded. Here's a story that I want to share with you. And I have to go real quick through it because it's very perplexing. There's so many different levels on how retarded that it is. But it's completely retarded. It's 100% proof that we're going through the tribulation right now, and ain't no getting out of that unless we go backwards and come out of that. We can't go further into the tribulation thinking that we're going to get through it. Got to come out of it. Got to withdraw from it, basically. Alright. We got a story. I got a short story that we got to share today. And it's a story that you probably already heard of in San Antonio. You probably already heard that the police officer had been shot in the head outside of the police officer's headquarters. He got shot in the head and by a person who was caught on videotape in the police headquarters only a couple hours before shooting Marconi, Detective Benjamin Marconi, up in the head. All right, that's very perplexing. Number one, because it's almost as if this person absolutely wanted to get caught shooting a police officer in the head. Why would you go up in the police detective's headquarters where they got all sort of video and they're going to absolutely catch you immediately? Why would you do that? And he did that. That's what he chose to do. So he gets caught. He gets caught pretty promptly. All right. And he got taken under custody. Now here's the thing. Details are unfolding. It's getting more and more perplexing. He got caught, right? But he got caught already, and he's already testified basically to the media and the fact that he did not know Detective Benjamin Marconi. It's not like they had beef with each other. He simply shot a police officer who was in a police officer's uniform. And I would have to imagine that's why he went into the headquarters with a big old puffy jacket like that. In San Antonio, Texas, at this time of year, you probably don't need a big old puffy jacket like that. So he walked up in the headquarters thinking that he was going to do something bad. He didn't do nothing bad. He got out of the police headquarters and he thought that, well, it's probably easier to nip someone off in a police cruiser if you think about it. Not only that, it doesn't really talk about it, but Otis Tyrone McCain was popping those pills, and I guarantee you he was. He's popping those pills to get all what they call geeked out or whatever, so that he could go ahead and murder some random people because he was very angry. And it comes to find out that he was very angry concerning child custody hearings and child custody suits that he'd been experiencing. That was the motive that he admitted to into why he shot the officer. All right, and me personally, I already kind of in a like a gut sense knew that it wasn't too much of a racial thing. I mean, he might not have shot a black officer. He might have went and found another officer, but it wasn't really a racial thing. Up in San Antonio, I knew in my gut that it really wasn't. He was just shooting someone who was a police officer because he was angry about the fact that he could not see his son. Alright, but see, that's the way things are going these days. Like I said, the law itself is completely ass backwards. Child support don't help nobody at all. But giving a child money so that they can have nice things and they can learn and grow and stuff, that is productive. Child support is pretty much the opposite of that. And that's what we allow. upon ourselves. Meanwhile, this guy is somehow surprised that he can't see his son and that he has to pay money for a son that he can't see. He's surprised by that. And it's happening all around us. All around us. And he was surprised by that. He got very angry. And he shot someone, a random police officer, in the head. Alright. He misguided his anger, which I'm trying to see if we can focus on. The misguided anger in and of itself is retardation. Alright? Because what I have to explain to you is, for whatever reason, people misguide their anger. It's because they're afraid. They're afraid to channel their anger back at the appropriate source. They don't do it because they're afraid of that source, so they misdirect their anger towards something else, and they act violent and they act bad to something else that didn't deserve that kind of treatment, i.e. Benjamin Marconi and his family. Alright, so that's bad. He misdirected his anger, and that's terrible. It's a child custody problem, and that's terrible. You know what's funny is he got arrested on the road, one of the most dangerous place on the earth, basically. He got arrested on the road in a car with a lady that he got married to only hours before being arrested for shooting a police officer in the head. So he got married to a random lady, knowing full well that he was about to get caught by the police. The news said he was about to get caught by the police. He knew he got married to a lady. I guess a lady that he knew. And she agreed to it. She knew full well, even without me knowing, she knew full well that he had murdered either a police officer or did something very bad and he was about to go to jail. That's why she married him. All right? There's probably some sort of benefits involved with being married and going to jail. So that's why he did it. That's why he asked her. That's why she did it. Meanwhile, they got caught in a car on the road, which was very dangerous. Shouldn't have been on the road. And in the car was a 2-year-old child in the back seat, from what I understand. Alright, so the plot thickens. It gets even weirder. Because you gotta understand, this is a vicious cycle right here that we're witnessing to. Alright, you can't see your son. You're having a hard time with that. You're having to pay out money. You're getting married to this lady who has a 2-year-old child. I'm willing to bet you a lot of money. A lot of money that ain't your child. Alright. You see the vicious cycle. That's a vicious cycle of retardation. Can't nobody see their child and stuff, and people are angry all over the place, and they're willing to shoot officers in the head over it for no good reason. Alright, thinking, you know, maybe that's the thing to do. They heard a lot of other people were shooting officers in the head, and they got a problem with the law. Alright. Meanwhile, the law is what is retarded. That the law is what started the retardation. Child custody should have never ever been brought up. Child support should have never been brought up in a court of law. And guess what? That's what retarded everything. Meanwhile, you got Mr. Marconi. He didn't deserve to get shot up in the head, not from what I heard of. So now people see, the thing is, people are dying in and around all these child custody things and all these child support things all over the place. Alright, not me personally. I don't live my life that way. I don't seek to do things like that, but a lot of people are snapping. A lot of people are acting very violent when it comes to these terms that are agreed upon while selling everybody's soul to the government, and it's very unproductive, is what I'm trying to say. And you shouldn't do it, and we're still doing it, and it's not going to end well if we continue to keep doing this. If we have a law legislating morality, right, which is child support. Is where a lady or a man cries to the government says, oh man, we'll take care of this, and they do. Meanwhile, they got both of y'all's ass in a trap, and they know that that little child ain't gonna have a daddy or ain't gonna have a mommy, and so they're gonna be kind of messed up. The government's gonna become their mommy and their daddy, and that's what's taking place through a law that's legislating morality. And on the other hand, here's something I want to finish on, because a lot of people won't think about this. That's what got Marconi in the situation he was in. Alright. There's no reason other than making money, and everybody knows this, other than, I don't know, regulating the drug trade, which is what you do. You don't stop it. There ain't no reason for police officers to be on the road at all, ever. See, the thing is, if they were hiding behind the excuse of making the road safe, you do not make the road safer. You don't at all. And I'm not blaming for you. The thing is that it's not your job necessarily, nor is it possible for you to make the road safer. The road is the most dangerous place in the world, period. And it's also the most dangerous place in the world for officers as well, because here's the thing: officers have been getting shot recently on the road at random while their wits aren't about them, while they ain't observing their environment. Instead, they're writing little notes. While they're doing that, they're getting shot in the head. But not only that, officers getting ran over way more than getting shot in the head on the side of the road. So you got to understand that it is extremely dangerous for you to be on the road so much. Police officers do not belong on the highways or anything like that at all. But see, that's the thing. That's what we submit to when we submit to the war on drugs. And it's all interconnected like that. We're submitting to officers being on the road when they have no business on the road. And if they wanted to talk about the fact that how are they going to make money, I don't know how you're going to make money, but you should figure out a better way to make money other than to tax people all day while trying to legislate morality. Meanwhile, people are the ones who are allowing the law to exist. The root of the evil belongs at the fact that the law exists, that dictates that you can somehow tax people up and down the road. You don't make the road any safer. You tax people all day who cannot afford it. Alright, and that's all it does, if not regulates the drug trade. Because here's the thing, Big Spring, and I can guarantee you many other places, it runs on drugs. Big Spring happens to run on drugs and oil, baby. A little bit of cotton, a little bit of this and that. Drugs and oil. Alright, so there is no excuse for police officers to be on the road. And in fact, it's just not safe for them. Alright, meanwhile they're being ordered to do so by the law or whatever like that. And there's many different aspects of retardation is what I'm trying to point out. There's so many angles from which retardation is bouncing off this particular situation that it makes my head spin. Alright, because none of this was necessary. However, we're allowing the law to position us into two groups who are going to disagree so violently towards each other that they're going to act bad. They're going to start shooting people. I mean, people have been dying in and around all these laws, trying to legislate more morals on everybody. And it's causing us to go all retarded. Alright. Anyways, it's tribulation. It's the time of retardation. It's November the 23rd. We're balls deep up in it. 2016.